The biggest question always asked is, who killed this guy? This is a guy that popped up in the Otherworld saga. This was after the events of the Cell saga, and Goku apparently died by Cell, and there's an afterlife in DBZ. There was like a tournament in the afterlife where you got to fight other beings that are dead somehow, but it's never really explained how Pikkon died. Here's the thing, that you got the manga, you got the anime. The manga, the whole point of the anime is to translate what's in the manga, to translate the story in like a video version basically. But here's the thing, there's this thing known as filler, and there's fillers that pop up in animes, and technically the characters that pop up in the filler, or the events in general that happened in the filler, didn't necessarily happen in the manga. So technically Pikkon, the character I'm going over today, the guy that's not Piccolo, he just happens to be green and works out with weighted training clothing similar to Piccolo, he's actually technically a filler character. He's not a part of the main continuity. He's not canon. So in a way, you have to kind of separate the feats into two different categories. You got the, manga canon, you got the anime canon. Anime canon is kind of like its own thing. A lot of the similar events that happen in the manga happen in the anime canon, but you also have additional feats that are added. That's where Pikkon comes in. And it can get a little confusing because you're wondering, okay, if it's a filler Goku he's fighting, he's not fighting the canon Goku, then how do we really rank him based on Goku and the characters he's fought that we see? Here's the thing about these filler versions of these characters. Just because they're filler versions of the characters and these versions of the characters are technically not canon, that doesn't mean these filler characters didn't go through the similar events that the canon one did. For example, this anime Goku that I'm going to be comparing Pikkon a lot to this video went through a lot of similar events that the manga Goku went through. So the histories are basically the same, even though he's a non-canon version of Goku I'm comparing Pikkon to. He still has a lot of similar history, so I still should have to bring that stuff up. Along with the movies, Pikkon is one of them beings that met Goku in a filler arc in the anime itself, but then popped up again in another movie, which is technically not canon too. But in Pikkon's case, he seems to have memories of meeting Goku back in that filler arc. So in this case, this movie in particular, and the Otherworld Tournament saga seem to share history or share continuity. Pikkon still remembers those events, and he still seems to be a rival to Goku to exceed him in power. So we can almost kind of assume that Pikkon's one of those characters that's always training. He's ridiculously strong, which you're going to see a lot of that throughout this video. We could assume Pikkon during the events of the Buu saga, even though we didn't see him in the actual real anime, we could assume during those events of the Buu saga, he was also getting strong off screen. But let's get into it. I mean, in Dragon Ball, this is a superhuman type world. So right here, it explains it best about how Chi works. Chi is the reason why a character can do a lot of superhuman stuff. Fly. Gohan pretty much explains it here. Ki control. Best fighters usually have ki control. Pikkon is no exception. It's energy latent in your body. Similarly to how Goku has his own Kamehameha, ki techniques, Pikkon has his own energy blast techniques. Ki blast, blah, blah, blah. Chi is very interesting. So when it comes to strength, you almost got to put in consideration of the chi strength and the just raw muscle, because they can kind of help each other, vice versa. Chi can help a character's muscles get stronger and lift more weight, stuff like that. Chi enhanced punches, So right off gate, when it comes to Pikkon, similar to Piccolo, he wears weighted training clothes, like I already mentioned. And this is not lightweight, by the way. It's a lot heavier than you think. It can crack the ground. Even Goku acknowledged that this stuff is really heavy and that he trains like Piccolo. So yeah, he lifts weights. Right off gate, you can get an idea of his physical strength, on how he literally got in a contest of strength with Goku, of their arms locking each other. He had weighted training clothes on too, guys, by the way. So it kind of makes sense for Goku to kind of be able to push him back. Pikkon is kind of weighed down. Yeah, to kind of match Goku's strength during this point in time, knowing that Goku throughout the timeline always gets stronger, and Pikkon is fighting a Buu saga Goku when other previous sagas Goku can lift literally hundreds of tons or over hundreds of tons. Goku in these early sagas lift this much and slam giant beings. Yep, it was this occasion where Piccolo grew really large. Yep. I know Pikkon is matching the strength of a filler version of Goku, but like I said, this filler version of Goku still has memories of those past events, went through those same events, even though he's a filler version of the character. He went through the same events as the canon Goku, and canon Goku can lift hundreds of tons. This would imply Pikkon can also lift 100 tons by default as a bare minimum. I would even go as far as say this is an oversimplification. I mean, just the weight of Pikkon's hits kind of imply he can lift this kind of weight, so his strikes can do that. Matter of fact, Goku and Pikkon both were such incredible warriors in raw power that apparently even 500 years of training for these other people in this tournament wouldn't be enough to catch up to the strength of Pikkon and Goku. So they just built different. Pikkon is apparently the greatest martial artist in the Western galaxy. You should know destroying planetoids is nothing in Dragon Ball at this point. These little floating rocks don't look like they're the size of real size planetoids, but Pikkon can strike with enough power to make shockwaves and mess up these little planetoids. Most opponents we see Pikkon get in contact with, even if they're larger than him, he will one-shot them. I'm talking about even with weighted clothes. Now that you know that his punches are not the only thing you can worry about, you know, you got this blast that you got to worry about. Let's get into the blast power these beings can withstand and dish out. They can withstand just like what they can dish out. Their durability is crazy. Like how Pikkon made like an energy barrier around himself to increase his strikes harder and was clashing with Goku's energy blast, for example, when his weights were off. Anyway, in the timeline, even though this is filler, Goku went through those same events as canon stuff, so you can kind of get an idea of how strong Pikkon is when you see him interact with villains. Well, technically, these are filler versions of canon villains, but those filler versions of those characters remember those events and went through those similar events, just like the canon stuff, so.
Yeah, but I've already fought against both Cell and Frieza, and you haven't.
It's Goku!
That's right, Frieza, I'm stopping you again.
I'm the one who killed him, remember?
I'm bringing this up on purpose because this is important for Pikkon's power level to really get a true understanding. You know, Cell and Frieza, two villains that Goku had to face in the past. If you're new to Dragon Ball, let me just tell you, planet-shattering type of power levels in Dragon Ball are like normal, honestly. Characters like Frieza, even in his weakest form, can destroy planets with laughable ease. With his energy blast, of course, and not to mention his durability, can withstand similar attacks, energy attacks, and etc. You know, durability and their blast power is similar. You get the idea? Well, Pikkon with his weights on is still strong enough to pretty much effortlessly one-shot King Cold and Frieza with his weighted training clothes on with laughable ease. You guys know Vegeta, somebody that has energy blast so powerful he can destroy Earth, right? With his blast. Even in his earlier days of his career, he's gotten way stronger currently, of course, but I'm talking about back in the day Vegeta. Yeah, Vegeta back in the day can blast away planets, and during these times, there was a point in time where he was intimidated by Frieza during this point in time. I mean, look at these facial expressions. He's intimidated by him and his power. Meaning off rip, he's just scared of Frieza and he can destroy planets in these earlier days. Then Frieza's leagues above planet shattering even in his weakest state, weakest form. Frieza has forms that allow him to increase his power by over 200 times. Think about this for a second. If his base state is leagues and leagues upon leagues earth-shattering levels of power and he can increase his power by over 200 times, yeah, in his highest forms. And the weight of Pikkon's hits can do this to his daddy and Frieza himself with the weight of his hits when he's suppressed with weighted training clothes. This is counting weighted training clothes. So I think that's pretty obvious that his hits and strikes are over 200 times more power needed to destroy the Earth. Like, destroying planets is so easy. During this arc, this is literally nothing new when it comes to his hits or blasts with his weights on, suppressed. I mean, Frieza was, even in his weaker forms, like the second form, Frieza's just a threat. Like, he's a scary being that was terrorizing and threatening to destroy the universe and crap. I want to give you guys a perspective. You know how I already showed, like, Pikkon one-shotting this guy, right? Who has, in earlier days, had a power level of 530,000. And remember that super-duper hyper-weak beings compared to him with a power level of 10,000, very low tiers, can blast and basically destroy a planet and other nearby planets as collateral of their blast power. So what the heck do you think Pikkon can do? If he can do this to Frieza's dad and Frieza himself, Pikkon would be able to do this feat of destroying these 3 planets like King Vegeta did with laughable ease if he can do it. Pikkon is literally fighting Super Saiyans in the later arcs. Cell is even a stronger villain who was given Super Saiyan 2 level beings issues. Pikkon can hit this hard, 2-shot in this being. This is the same Cell that went through the events that you know of that withstood an attack from Vegeta, beings that are laughably above planet-shattering levels at this point in the series because he's stronger than Frieza by a lot. Cell's durable enough to withstand these attacks, but couldn't eat these attacks from Pikkon when he's suppressed. Just like the other characters, if we assume his durability is anything like how much blast power he can put out, he literally stated he can destroy the entire solar system, and based on how this Dragon Ball universe works, weaker beings in the arcs being able to destroy dozens of planets and stuff at this point, this doesn't seem like an exaggeration. If we was to assume that Pikkon can overpower Cell in this beam struggle based on how DBZ works, it would be fair to assume, like, just like Cell, Pikkon could possibly blow away the solar system based on how easily he destroyed Cell with his weighted training clothes on. It's basically because filler Goku went through some crazy astronomical power progression because the plot demands it. Yeah, filler Goku's kind of crazy because as easily as Pikkon messed up Cell and Frieza and stuff, despite their power levels at that time, Pikkon with his weights on was still having major issues with Goku in his base state. This implies that Goku's base state at this point in time is what? Greater than the past arc Super Saiyan 2 level? Like, what? Notice the weight of Pikkon's hits when it comes to Goku that's this strong. But Goku has an actual transformation on top of Pikkon matching him in his base, which is already stronger than Super Saiyan 2 of the previous arc, which has an official bare minimum 50 times multiplier to really give you an understanding of what Pikkon's matching. Like, I'm talking about Pikkon without his weights matching Super Saiyan Goku and each other, matching each other's blasts. in stalemates. The Goku that Paikon's fighting has the blast power to probably blast away 50 solar systems if they was next to each other because he's 50 times stronger than beings that Pikkon one-shotted. And he blasted Pikkon, and Pikkon was able to swat these attacks away with his bare fist. That's like saying he swatted away a times 50 solar system shattering type of attack based on Goku's multiplier, and he's countering him. Like, this is a high difficulty fight when it comes to how hard he can hit compared to Goku. Like, you can see how it's animated. Stunning Goku with an elbow drop to where Goku can't catch himself and struggles to get up. I mean, we're not even going to get on his more concentrated energy beam type of attacks. Like his version of a Kamehameha, for example. Like his energy projection or whatever can literally make his own tornado to damage and actually slice up Goku with paper cut type of attacks. Like he has one technique that seems to have fiery elemental type of damage to it, because people get burned if they're near the vicinity. This attack is called Thunder Flash attack, to where the weight of his attacks actually damage Goku even in this state. Goku couldn't really block it and struggles to get up. So just like he can physically deflect these attacks from crazy powerful beings, he can do his own concentrated blast that one could say could hit with more concentrated or more dense force. Because, you know, this is like his version of a Kamehameha, so it's like way more potent than just a random jab he would usually throw. I do want to make something clear though, as strong as Pikkon is, in this tournament he did technically lose to a Goku in a high difficult type of fight. Officially, it was technically a draw because they both were disqualified, but yeah, let's be honest, Goku kind of won. But it was a very tough fight. You know you're a strong warrior to where you force Goku to do something that his canon self hasn't even done. He already has a Super Saiyan transformation that multiplies his base strength by 50, but he also has this Kaioken technique that can multiply his power even further. We don't know the multiplication in this particular fight. All we know is that Goku, while in Super Saiyan form, used this technique known as the Super Kaioken. Just to keep in mind, in the past when it comes to Kaioken, we've seen him multiply by 3 and stuff, but yeah, we don't know how much he did it with Pikkon, but if we assume he did the lowest multiplier of times 2 or something, he would have multiplied it. It would have been like multiplying his times 50, you know, Super Saiyan strength by another 2. That would be like, in total, Goku would have a 100 times power boost fighting Pikkon. So instead of this number being 50 like I showed earlier, he would have had to withstand an attack that would have been like within the ballpark of 100 times solar system shattering if we're taking that Kaioken thing seriously when it comes to Pikkon, withstanding that attack, his durability and such. And the fact Pikkon got punched by this force, and he kept fighting like he just didn't get hit by something that powerful. If there was like a whole bunch of solar systems standing in front of you, he probably could make a blast go through all the solar systems, honestly. Hundreds of them. Like, the best way I could think of it is like think about an energy blast going from one planet. It would just keep on going to the planets over and over again until it destroys a whole bunch of solar systems. If all the solar systems were standing in a straight line or something, he'll be able to blast them all away. You see what I mean? Based on the weight of his blast and his durability, because he shrugged it off. Let me rewind real quick when it comes to Pikkon and speed. Like, he's very fast, obviously. Like, with his weighted training clothes, he literally flew from one part of the universe basically to the other, basically. Because, you know, they're in the afterlife area. This is one of those incalculable feats. Like, yo, they flew a ridiculous distance in an extremely short amount of time. Way faster than the speed of light, blah, blah, blah. Goku at this point in the series is so many times faster than the speed of light because he went through the same events as the other canon Goku. So Pikkon can fly in a straight line and just fight fast, because there's times when Goku himself fighting speed wasn't enough to keep up with him in raw speed. Goku in his base state even talked about Pikkon's speed in his state, even when he's weighed down with weighted clothes. He's so fast that Goku in his Super Saiyan state was having a hard time hitting him even when he was spamming blasts. Keep in mind that Ki Blast in Dragon Ball, even by weaker forms, just a history of Ki Blast, by the way. Like, this is not Pikkon, for example. He looks like him a little bit, but I'm just trying to let you know the speed of Ki Blast. They've always been able to travel from Earth to the moon in a ridiculously short amount of time. This is in earlier arcs, guys. Like, Goku and Pikkon are way stronger than characters in this arc. You see what I mean? And faster. You know you're fast or just have fast combat speed in general when Goku says,
Pikkon, he moves so fast.
I mean, we see him dodging Super Saiyan Goku's Kamehameha, and we know these beams are fast, way over light speed by an astronomical large margin. So when you see the animators animating him teleporting and fighting with Super Saiyan tier characters, it's legit. He's fast. The crazy thing about Pikkon, I've already showed you how impressive he is with his blasts and stuff and how he can easily destroy solar systems and crap. But look, even though he's a filler character, and he fought Goku before the big time skip, but there was like a 7-year time skip during the Blue Saga where Goku's of course getting stronger as time goes by. Proof of that is because, you remember when Gohan got Super Saiyan 2 form against Cell? Well, did you know Gohan's daddy got a Super Saiyan 2 form? So that means they're equal! Not exactly. How are they not equal if they have the same form? See, that's the thing about people that don't understand Dragon Ball. Like, this is 7 years ago. This was a Super Saiyan 2 7 years ago. This is a Super Saiyan 2 7 years later. This version of a Super Saiyan 2, Goku's version of a Super Saiyan 2 is stronger than a back in the day Super Saiyan 2. See what I mean? And these can already destroy a solar system. You see where I'm going? Like in the canon lore. But this Goku,
At least you're stronger than your son was against Cell.
this is even more impressive considering how base form Goku, he was already stronger than a Cell that could destroy solar systems in the filler version of Goku that he is. Like imagine how strong he is 7 years later in the Buu Saga. It's filler version of Goku. Imagine that. Anime version. So yeah, he was strong like this then, but yeah, in the Buu Saga, this is years later. On top of the fact Goku has 2 new forms compared to when he fought Pikkon in a different saga. So you're probably thinking, what the heck does this have to do with Pikkon? Pikkon's rivalry still seems to persist even in this movie universe, which implied that the filler stuff kind of count with this movie. Technically, this movie takes place during the Buu Saga 7 years later, so it's obvious that Pikkon got stronger, but how much stronger is kind of vague. We did see that at the very least with his weighted clothes on though, he can literally slugfest it with base form Buu Saga Goku though. See, there was this really powerful being in this movie, known as Janemba. I mean, this being technically had 2 forms, like this fat, goofy looking mode and the one I just showed you. The only thing we got to go off of is him with weighted clothes on against our Buu Saga Goku. And it doesn't seem like to be a mismatch. You could argue that his weighted clothes self is stronger than his previous arc without weights on, maybe. Look how Super Saiyan 3 level being, how his strikes look hurting Janemba. They look like they sting him for quite a bit, but not too much. It doesn't take many attacks for Super Saiyan 3 Goku to get worn down by Janemba. And look how bad Goku got damaged by one sword swipe in Super Saiyan 3 state. Like, he was pretty much done for. I mean, this is kind of hard to rank Pikkon, but Super Saiyan 3 beings couldn't beat him. Don't get me wrong, Pikkon couldn't either. He got curb stomped by Janemba, being that can beat Super Saiyan 3s. Pikkon did survive this though, with his weights. Obviously, I'm not trying to say Pikkon is up there with Super Saiyan 3 level beings. Maybe he's as strong as a Buu Saga Super Saiyan 2 or something, because he has weighted training clothes right here, and he still put some discomfort on Janemba's face. Didn't really do too much damage though, but like massively stronger than he was, considering he's supposed to be a Goku rival apparently. All that stuff I mentioned earlier, let's just say, I think a fair assumption would be like his weighted clothes self currently, like in the Buu Saga era, could do it better, because you know he's gotten strong over time. Fair assumption. We don't really know for sure, but I would say this is a fair assumption. I wouldn't even be surprised if somebody would make an assumption that he could shake a whole galaxy to its very core due to this massive time skip, and Pikkon's apparently still our apparent rival for Goku. What do you think? Do you think he could blast away a whole galaxy or just shake one or something of that such currently after the many power increases he's gotten over the 7 years? And what do you think a Buu Saga Pikkon without his weights can do? We didn't see Pikkon fight Goku in these states in the Buu Saga, but there's implications that Goku just simply powering up. Keep in mind that powering up energy output is nothing compared to their actual concentrated ki blast. And there's implications him just powering up to Super Saiyan 3. He can apparently quake universe-sized afterlife type structures in the macrocosm like hell, heaven, and stuff like that. Beings nowhere near the vicinity feeling the effects of them. I don't necessarily want to say that Pikkon can shake a universe-sized structure, but if he's as strong as, I don't know, a Super Saiyan 1 of this saga, I think a fair assumption would be like he could delete a galaxy in this saga based on the events. Or maybe more than 1 or 2, based on him shaking an infinite-sized universe or structure in this particular scan. Because here's the thing, shaking something super large isn't as impressive as actually destroying it. But I would personally say if you can shake something that's a universe-sized structure, I would say destroying a galaxy is definitely believable. Even destroying more than 1 at that. But you're saying, no, Pikkon is not as strong as Super Saiyan 3 Goku in the Fusion Reborn movie. Yeah, we don't really know if he is or not, but like, even if we assume he's only as strong as a Buu Saga Fusion Reborn Super Saiyan 1 Goku, the multiplier after Super Saiyan 1 is a 2 times multiplier. And guess what? Super Saiyan 3 is a times 4 multiplier. So 8 times stronger than his Super Saiyan 1. Let me ask you something. If we assume Pikkon is as strong as a Buu Saga Fusion Reborn Super Saiyan 1 Goku, which is way weaker than the Super Saiyan 3, of course, wouldn't that mean we can kind of assume that Pikkon is 1/8 the strength needed to shake an entire infinite-sized universal structure? Wouldn't that be fair? If Super Saiyan 3 can shake a universe-sized structure and Pikkon can fight a lower form that's 1/8 that power, even with his weighted training clothes, if we was to take this scale seriously, he should at least be able to blow away at least 2 galaxies or something. If I don't want to overhype him too much, I think this is fair without overhyping him too much. More than 1 galaxy. This is kind of assumption based because we never saw Pikkon in this movie actually fight the current Super Saiyan 3. That's why I'm kind of underselling him on purpose to 1/8 of that strength, 1/8 the power needed to quake an entire infinite sized dimension or a finite size dimension, underselling it even further. Him doing this with the weight of his blast seemed believable. Plus, we never saw him without his weighted clothes on. He did have weighted training clothes on, but there's implications he's not as strong as Kid Buu, though. I mean, you gotta respect Paikon's strength. When Goku and Pikkon are the people that settle beings down that are in hell acting a ruckus or acting a fool, they're the ones to calm them beings down. Pikkon is one of them. Even if it's Broly, apparently.
What? Now Broly is acting up down in hell? And King Kai wants me and Pikkon to go there and settle him down?
You know, the Broly that was considered pure evil? Yep. But yeah, guys, Dragon Ball characters are known for their crazy blast power. Pikkon is no exception to this. Pikkon also believes you should hit that like button for me, guys. It would really help out a lot. And thanks for the donations, everybody. It helps out a lot. Pikkon is one of those filler characters I hope they make canon like how they did Broly. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.